everyone. My name is Amber Lyn. I'm a life coach and community director for Pathway to Hope, an online community for women. I'm here with Patrick Doyle. He is a counselor, best-selling author, and expert in emotional and spiritual abuse. And today we're going to be talking about the emotionally neglectful partner.
Mm, Yes. This is one of those topics that I think is very pervasive, but not very often talked about.
Yes.
And I think the reason why is because it's so nuanced. It's hard to describe. And the person who's in that situation has a lot of internal conflict and questioning themselves. So I'm looking forward to exploring this a bit.
Yeah. So, what are some of the common signs that a partner is being emotionally neglectful?
Well, first, can we just start with emotional neglect and let's define that a little bit?
Sure.
Because I think that, that definition is um, not set in stone. What one person finds neglectful, the next person might not. Um, Neglect will depend on expectations. They will depend on agreements. And a lot of relationships that are long term have a lot of what I would say are unspoken agreements, which is part of the problem. You read each other, you decide that's what they want, but there's no conversation. There's no actual agreement. In reality, it's implied. Okay. So when someone is emotionally neglected, some of the key signs are you're in a relationship, but you feel alone. Now, it might not be every day I feel alone. It might be that I feel alone the majority of the time. Okay. So then what happens is when I feel alone, I'm like, oh yeah, yeah. And then I start to make excuses. Well, and then there's that with the 10% or the 20% of the time where I don't feel alone and it feels somewhat good. And then I hyper focus on that. And I deny the time when I feel alone. The other thing is when someone's neglectful of you emotionally, it's not because you're doing something wrong, it's something to do with them, their internal world. Okay. So feel alone. You feel a lot of internal conflict. These are some signs that you're in a relationship where you're being neglected emotionally. You don't sense that the person cares about you in a way that's meaningful to you. They may care about you, but they care about you in a way that's meaningful to them, which ultimately really isn't care. It's selfishness disguised as care. And I use this example a lot. Somebody does something for you that's nice, but it's not what you want. You want something else. And by the way, that's completely illegal for you to have a want or a need or a desire. So if you say, hey, I'd like you to do this, and then they keep doing that and they don't listen to you what you want, that's emotional neglect. And the reason why they're being nice to you isn't because they care, it's because it makes them feel good. And this is something I see all the time. People doing things for other people because it makes them feel good. And then the person who's having the kind thing done for them, it's hard for them to say to somebody, it doesn't work. It doesn't make me feel good. I don't like it. Well, they're being nice. No, they're being manipulative and selfish. It looks nice. But if the person you're doing it for doesn't appreciate it, then you're not being nice. And I see this a lot in marriages and relationships, um, families, everywhere. And so I would say those are some things to look for.
Yeah, I've also seen it and experienced it in my own life. The partner that is there, but he's just not very present.
Mhm.
He's
Correct.
watching sports all the time. He's on his phone scrolling. He maybe will say
Mhm.
hi or
Mhm.
answer a question when you're trying to engage with him, but he doesn't really engage with you. He doesn't see you. He's not very present uh,
Correct.
the majority of the time. Obviously, in relationships, we need breaks. We need our alone
Yes.
time, and
Sure.
that's a priority. That's important, right? But
Mhm.
in these kind of relationships, that it's very
Mhm.
one-sided. It's you constantly trying to go and get attention or to be seen
Mhm.
by him, and there's
Mhm.
little to no response.
Right. And the
But
other
they're
thing,
there.
yeah, I think the other thing that you bring up that's very important, Amber, is that you're the primary initiator of everything.
Yes. Yeah.
If you're going to have a conversation, it's because you initiate it. They would avoid everything if given the opportunity. and everything's fine as long as we're not talking about anything. But in any relationship of any value, there's conflict. There's plans that need to be discussed. There's things that need to be planned. There's, life that has to be lived. And if you feel like you're pushing a rock uphill, that's another sign.
Okay. So, in your experience, what motivates a partner to withhold emotional presence or be connected with their partner?
So you're asking about what would cause someone to be neglectful?
Yeah, what motivates a partner to be or withhold emotional presence or
Yeah.
connection?
Well,
Being neglectful.
I don't think it's a motivation. I think it's a result of some things. So
Okay.
the person who's being neglectful has a very low self-value message. They have trauma, they've been neglected, they have something in their lives or many things in their lives that's told them they're not worth anything. So as a result of that lack of value, they cannot ever experience a risk. They can't be vulnerable. And again, 99% of the time, this is 100% unconscious on the part of the person who's being avoidant or being emotionally neglectful. And in their mind, they're being so present. Okay. The reason why, though, is because whatever happened to them, they've never dealt with. It's just sitting there. And then that value structure prevents them from ever taking a risk, which is the major reality of a relationship is emotional risk. So intimacy is the result of vulnerability. If I have a message that says I'm going to be judged or I'm going to be found not good enough, I'm never going to take the risk to be vulnerable. And if you can't be vulnerable, then you can't be emotionally present. So again, but here's what I see a lot of people do. They notice that the person is emotionally not present or they're neglectful, and then they go about trying to find out why and fix it.
Yeah, I've seen it so much so that they'll go and try to diagnose, like, well, he's on the spectrum,
Right.
so that's why. Or but that doesn't really change the fact that you're being emotionally neglected and your needs aren't
Correct.
being met, and there's a level of disregard there. Like, yeah,
Correct. Yes. And regardless of whether the person is conscious of it or not, doesn't change the fact that it's happening.
right. But I see what happens is they diagnose and then they don't really sit with the pain of the fact that their needs aren't being met and that they are being neglected. So, but they're hyper focused on,
Right.
yeah,
And generally those people that are being emotionally neglected are also the people that are being neglected are actually very caring.
absolutely.
So they
Mhm.
want to do what they can to help. But the problem is when someone's behavior has displayed a lack of insight and a denial structure that doesn't change, you're giving CPR to a dead guy. It doesn't bring life in spite of how long or hard you do the CPR. Somebody with that kind of denial, and again, no judgment to that person, but whatever happened to them, they've not dealt with, and that has ramifications. So you get to choose: am I going to live with the ramifications of being emotionally neglected, or am I not? Free country, you get to choose what you want.
All right. Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
If this was helpful, we've created more free resources for you in the link in the description. So go ahead and click on that. And until next time, thank you.
Yeah.